All right, starting up a new channel. I'm gonna call it CrowBot's Pilot Training Academy, Pilot Training Polytechnic. I don't know, something like that. So this is a match I recorded, and it was like one of the first ones I recorded. I've been playing again for another couple of months now, long enough to get this fancy run in. And I think this is a match as I'm working towards getting a Bushi, and I'm like so close, like within just a few matches. So I've got my watcher decked out with all my heavy weapons, so when it comes in later, when they kill this thing off, you get to see what it can do. But then after I got the Bushi, I moved most of those weapons over to it. So if you're gonna have a Bushi, save up for the drone, because it's pretty weak without it. You can dash around a bunch, but you got to be able to do damage. That's one of the things I want to get across to people in this academy, is that you don't have to be able to take a lot of damage. You need to be able to do a lot of damage, and then you need to play smart, using tactics and cover and concealment and all these kinds of things. You know, the kind of stuff they teach you when you go to basic training. So if you never went to basic training, you wouldn't know. Anyway, if you get mad because excuse me, if you get mad because people stand behind stuff to shoot at you, that's kind of the point of warfare, you know, all's fair. Anyway, I've got some cool tactics. My favorite robot, believe it or not, is a Bison with a stock loadout and a drone. I added sights to it, so it's got a little extra range, and as long as you play it right, those 300-meter missiles do some serious damage if they hit. And that's the thing, they're really slow, so if a robot's walking sideways to them, you won't hit them. It's real easy to avoid the 300 and 500-meter missiles. And so if you're using them, you got to use them on either slow-moving robots that are walking directly towards or away from you. The range isn't very long, so you got to get pretty close, which means you've got to stay behind cover until you get where you're going. Find yourself that slow-moving robot. And my Bisons, all my robots are level 1. I've played this game for years, and I've been at the top. I've played in a beta where they gave us so many resources we could max out 10 robots, have 10 pilots. We basically, for the course of this 2-day beta, we had so many resources we could just build and upgrade whatever the hell we wanted to, so that's what we did. There's a video somewhere of me playing and another person that I knew at the time. They were on the opposite team, and they happened to be recording it, so I got to watch myself play from another player's perspective. And I think it got down to just me and that player, and I ended up taking him out in the end, but it was pretty close. But it's weird playing at the top. You've got the capacity for 10 pilots. Since they added the levels thing, they've got to level up robots 3 times each, so that takes 3 times the resources, 3 times the time. If you want to play at the top, it's a grind to get there, and it's hard to get through the next 2 levels to get there. I think there's 4 levels total, 5 levels total in the game. You start out in 1, and as soon as you won't see any premium robots for a little bit, first few matches, till you upgrade a few levels, and then they put you in matches with other players. But the first few matches, usually you're not playing with other people when you first start the game. So that's kind of a level, not really, but it's just where you start out. And then you get into this bottom tier right here. And the key to staying in the bottom tier is to keep all your robots at level 1. I haven't upgraded anything. The first robot I always build is the Mantis. I like the jumpers and I like the dashers. The fast walkers are worthless in my opinion. As you get to the top, you might find a robot that's got some abilities that you like, and they just happen to be a fast walker, and it's the only one that's got them. But other than that, I like the dashers, and I prefer the jumpers. The jumpers are my favorites. The Viking is not a very powerful robot, but if you know how to park yourself behind something and shoot over that something, you've got cover from the front and the sides. When the shields are open, your sides, your flanks are covered. So there's been a lot of times I've walked in on somebody with people shooting at me from the side and just keep walking straight towards them eventually. I like to joke that if your Viking has wings on it, you're not playing it right. Anyway, I've been playing for years, so I've got some interesting tactics. Maybe they're not as sophisticated as some other tactics people have come up with, but I sort of play instinctively. The things I do tend to be what feels most right to do, and sometimes I get in a weird zone where It's almost like playing pool with English, where you're trying to set up the next shot as you're shooting this shot. And I'll jump in the bison, take out a target, and then land in such a way that I'm lined up on the next target or something like that. Or in the watcher with the weapons going all the time. There's something on there that's always shooting. I got so many different things on it. I'll take out a target when I'm in the air, and then as I come down for a landing, I focus on the next target, and I get to shoot at it until it's dead. So there's a lot of interesting tactics that you can use in this game. Each robot and weapon combination plays a little bit differently. You got to play a bison in a very specific way when you're using those short-range wasps. You got to kind of jump, bounce, jump and sort of pounce on a target and unload as much as you need to unload. There's some interesting jumps where I'll see two targets that are close together, but not so close together that the missiles will take them both out. There's a few times where I've shot at two targets real close together, and the one target I'm shooting at, by the time I unload on it, I've taken out both targets, and it'll pop up and say ×2 kill. It's kind of cool. So the missiles have the advantage of being an area, doing some area damage. So if you're shooting at one target and there's another guy standing right next to him, you're going to hit both of them. It's kind of cool. But they could also both walk sideways and you won't even hit them. So they're really easy to defeat, but AI is not smart enough to do it. So anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, starting a new channel. Or jumping, taking out the two targets. Oh, taking out two targets. So two targets that are fairly close together, almost dead. Maybe 2 or 3 hits apiece will take them out. I'll focus on the nearest target and try and get just those two targets in my sights. So as I jump, they're the only two that are available for me, so that I can jump, shoot 2 or 3 rounds at the first target, hit the target switch to the second target, and shoot 2 or 3 or 4 rounds, whatever I need to, at that target before I land, and take both targets out. That feels really good when you can do it. So anyway, in future videos, I'm going to talk through the video while I'm playing, if I remember to. Some intense videos, I kind of forget to say stuff. But I'm going to try and do some training videos where I'm teaching people, you know, maybe the best route to take through the game. My first advice is don't upgrade anything, and the reason I say that is because every time you jump a tier, you're going to notice it. You'll go from winning lots of matches to losing lots of matches. Look at the kind of damage this thing does every time it shoots. I forget what's on here. I got the 350s, 500s, so ghosts and phantoms, and I don't remember what's on the drone. Probably the regular Gatling gun. So it's kind of a sleeper. And what I've got on it now is sort of a one of each thing, since I had to resupply and deck out the Yamabushi with all the weapons that were on this. I ended up with an odd number of things. So I had 1 ghost, 1 phantom, 1 Hummer, and a torch. So I left the Gatling guns that come with this robot on the drone, so people think it's stock. And basically, the closer you get to it, the more damage it does. So this is pretty much the end of this video. In future videos, I'll be talking through the video, and hopefully we'll get some pilots trained up and make this game fun for everybody. Playing in the bottom tier can be just as fun as playing in the top tier, only it doesn't take as long to get robots that you can use and weapons that you can use. So look forward to all that. See you in future videos.